Hi, fellow wanderers, and welcome to our latest Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Today we're headed up to Holland, Michigan. Holland was founded in 1847 by Dutch Calvinist separatists under the leadership of Dr. Albertus van Raalte. The group of 60 men, women, and children had fled religious persecution in the Netherlands and were seeking a new home where they could practice their faith freely. Van Raalte and his followers arrived in Holland, Michigan in February of 1847. They found a swampy and forest area, but they were determined to make it home. They built their first homes out of logs and started to clear the land. Our walk begins today in beautiful Centennial Park. This is a small picturesque park that has tulip beds when they're growing in season, flowers as you can see now in the summertime, a fountain, gazebo, a koi pond, paved paths, and benches just to enjoy the scenery. Reverend Albertus C. van Raalte originally set aside this land, which is now Centennial Park, for a public market. However, in 1871, a fire devastated much of Holland, Michigan, and the land grew weedy and remained unused. In 1876, the park was named and created in honor of the nation's centennial celebration and has since hosted many celebrations here in Holland. One of the more unique features about the park is this fountain here. It's entirely made out of coral. The early years were difficult for the Dutch settlers. They had to contend with very harsh winters here in northern Michigan, poor soil, and diseases. However, they persevered and built a thriving community. As we see as we go through this walk, Holland became known for its Dutch heritage. The settlers built Dutch-style windmills and houses, and they planted tulips, which were a symbol of the Netherlands. This here is a statue of Dr. van Raalte, one of the founders of Holland, Michigan. The city also became center for Dutch Reformed churches here in the United States. Holland is a popular tourist destination today. It's known for its Dutch heritages, its beaches just a little while away along the shores of Lake Michigan, and each year a famous tulip festival. In the spring, over 7 million tulips are in bloom throughout the city. Hi. The brick building that we see here in front of us was once the Women's Literary Club here in Holland, Michigan. Such clubs were very popular at the beginning of the 20th century, which provided a place for women to socialize, discuss latest books, talk about charitable projects, and much more. This building was constructed in 1914 and is now a private office space. The taller building that we see here in front of us was once home to the Michigan Bell Telephone Company. If you'll take a look at the building, you'll notice many of the design elements like the steep gabled and patterned brickwork are characteristic of Flemish-style architecture. And you'll see much of that style architecture as we go through our walk here today in Holland. The red brick building here that we're walking by was constructed in 1921 and was once the Masonic Temple here in downtown Holland. Formerly Holland's post office, this building's new life as a museum ensures that the stately pillars and distinctive classical revival architectures will remain for a long time yet to come. Originally the Holland City State Bank, this Victorian Romanesque structure was constructed in 1982 under the leadership of J. Vat who was the bank president. The arcaded block was an architectural form often used to anchor business districts in the late 1800s. It's made of locally quarried Waverley stone, and it includes a clock which was renovated in the 1980s and is a very major iconic building here in downtown Holland. We're now beginning to trek down 8th Street, which is the main commercial street in Holland, Michigan. Many of these buildings date back to the late 1800s and early 1900s. You'll notice Flemish design as well as many other architectural features throughout this walk along 8th Street. The large brick building here across the street was once the Warm Friends Hotel. The Warm Friends Hotel was built in the 1920s by the Holland Furnace Company. This hotel paid homage to the company's slogan, which was Holland's Furnaces Make Warm Friends. The building is now a retirement condominium space. This bank here, which is now the Fifth Third Bank, opened up as People's Bank. This building was designed and built by Bolhus and Company in 1928. It's a great example of the Art Deco period, with the exterior facade and the interior of the structure having excellent and extraordinary craftsmanship, as well as elaborate detailing that was typical of the architectural period during the Art Deco eras of the late 1920s and early 1930s.
Across the street from where you park.
An entertainment destination since 1911, the Knickerbocker Theater has hosted many notable figures, including Harry Houdini and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In the 1920s and 1930s, the building was a venue for vaudeville performances, and in later years was converted to a movie theater. The building was donated to Hope College in 1988, and the tradition continues of presenting live and film performances inside this beautiful theater. Ahead of us is the old Holland City Fire Hall and Firehouse Number 2. The city of Holland bought this lot in 1882, and contractor James Huntley began construction of a fire hall the next year. Completed in 1884, the building housed Holland City offices and library until 1912 and served as a fire hall until 1978. During World War II, the West Annex right here was built. In 1983, the firehouse was rehabilitated for use as office spaces. On March 8, 1884, about 150 people attended the Columbia Fire Engine Company's Oyster Supper celebration honoring Holland's new City Hall and firehouse. The solid brick building reflects the desire for fireproof construction following the Great Fire of 1871 that destroyed much of the city. Ninth Street Christian Reformed Church was dedicated on June 25th, 1856. This church was built under the leadership of the Reverend Albertus C. Van Ralta, founder and first pastor of the Holland, Michigan colony. Jacobus Schrader designed the Greek Revival style building using native hand-hewn oak for the sills and crossbeams. The copper rooster on the belfry, which symbolizes Peter's denial and pride, is commonly found on Calvinist churches in the Netherlands. This is the city's oldest church, and it's often referred to as the Pillar Church, as it was one of the few buildings in Holland that survived the devastating fire of 1871. The congregation of Pillar Church was organized in 1847 and originally worshipped in a log church at the site of the Pilgrim Home Cemetery. Composed of immigrants who came from the Netherlands, the church was without denominational ties until it joined the Reformed Church in America in 1850. A division occurred within its congregation in 1882, and the building was assumed by the majority people who seceded from that division in the church. The minority established itself as the First Reformed Church. We're now walking through the campus of Hope College. I actually have a full video of a tour of the campus of Hope College. Make sure to look for that in our playlist. Hope College was founded in 1866 by the Reverend Van Ralta and the Reformed Church in America. It has a strong affiliation with the Reformed Church and maintains a Christian identity while welcoming students from many diverse backgrounds. I hope you've enjoyed your tour today of our Wandering Walks of Wonder tour through Holland, Michigan. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder. Take care now. Bye-bye.